Hallo Leute und herzlich willkommen wieder zurück zu Genshin Impact. Im letzten Part haben wir erfahren, dass Tartaglia verdächtig wird, was mit unserem Mann zu tun zu haben. Und da denke ich mal, gehen wir als nächstes hin.
According to Malu's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance.
Ja, wir finden den Eingang. Ui. Wir finden den Eingang. Und hier finden wir direkt einen Teleporter. So. So. Hier unten meint ihr? Was ist passiert?
Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all.
Genau darum geht's ja. Wir werden sicher im Inneren etwas Außergewöhnliches finden.
You're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures and mechanisms. Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stall for us.
Währenddessen in der Opera Epiklese.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia.
Aha.
Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name, in which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion. I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever... When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns...
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly. And we have made... In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the...
That case had nothing to do... Huh? What's going on?
Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able... But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless... We can put the discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent.
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like...
That person is...
Jetzt werde Analyse über den Verdächtigen.
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of...
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this...
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand...
Kurze Zeit später fand
Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that...
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all—
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember, both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm...
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries. These are the known facts about the case.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still... in truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite... However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial...
Stimmt. Beim Kämpfen im Anwesen 2 Schüsse. Wartet
Something's not right.
Okay.
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus. However, in the end, he reconsidered, and instead shared... Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility, and had...
Informationen von...
A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a... But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after committing the murder. Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice.
Aha. Redlichkeit und Schweigen. Information. Keine Macht.
This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him, and... Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading...
Erfolgreich widerlegt.
Ah, so that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordials?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you would.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine one, do you have the evidence to back up your claim?
I'm afraid not.
If you don't have any...
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all...
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette,
Why do I feel like Farina...
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
my second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had...
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt the dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that... What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic...
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next...
What? If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter, but what good would that do? How can had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and...
So, you mean to say... your father intended to...
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent.
Uh-oh.
I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was...
Yes. I did, as a champion duelist. I've fought many battles, and taken a countless number of dishonored lives in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live. Or I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearance.
Right? What she said was fascinating.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of... In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. And, at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were all... Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquets.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, on top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely...
Know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigation. Alas, Who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah, well, do you know what the biggest flaw in your reason?
I suppose you're gonna...
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived, but the disappearances began before I ever stepped...
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy.
At this rate, Navi will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. While the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the many people's images are flashing before my eyes. And whose image? Is it a man named Vache? Oh. So you do know that name?
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of...
I was waiting for you to say that.
Kurz zuvor am Eingang zum Hauptquartier des Strippenzehers. Stelle eingesucht. Oha, jetzt wird spannend. Da bin ich mal gespannt, was wir hier finden werden. So, zack. Bedrohlich die Musik plötzlich ist. Was sind wir denn hier? Truppeneinstellung. Na gut. Scheint einen Bosskampf zu geben. Dann werde ich mal lieber... Nein! Ja gut, dann Elan. Ich wollte eigentlich Kasura, aber ist auch jetzt egal. Was haben wir denn hier?
Embrace the ice!
Machen wir mal Tacheles.
Quietly now.
So, die sind erledigt. Okay.
Whoa! The floor is going up!
Ja.
Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Ja, das stimmt. Er hat sogar eine Truhe vor uns hinterlassen. Die plündern wir natürlich. Boah, sieht das so schön aus.
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
Okay, was können wir damit machen? Kann ich euch absorbieren? Ja, ist ja komm. Oh, es geht tatsächlich. So, das Rätsel haben wir schnell gelöst. Ah, wir müssen das Wasser steigen. Okay.
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top.
Ja.
But this is still a ways away from where we
Ja, warum denn auch nicht? So weit ist es ja nicht. Vielleicht noch so 1, 2 Stationen und dann sehen wir, wo es weitergeht.
Illusion shattered. Busted. Things are about to get dicey.
Da bin ich mal gespannt, ob uns den Bossgegner erwartet. Ich denke mal, so ein Verfrüh wird es bestimmt ja Gesicht erwarten. Ich frag mich ja, ob man gegen sie kämpfen musste, weil wir haben ja nur für eine Truhe gekämpft. Oder ob man den Kampf hier auch auf den Weg hätte gehen können. Na gut, und dann wird das Wasser noch mehr steigen. Aber wir sind, glaube ich, noch nicht komplett da. Oder? Aber wir haben hier aber noch nicht fertig erkundet gehabt. Ach, weil es ja auch nichts zu erkunden gab. Na gut, dann gehe ich auf jeden Fall wieder. So, und da. Glaube ich. Ja, die Atmosphäre und die Musik hier, die gefallen mir wohl. Das ist kein Wasser. Noch. Zumindest noch nicht. Wie schön das hier einfach aussieht. So. So. Ich muss gerade irgendwie an Hogwarts Legacy denken. Also die nächsten Gegner. Die jetzt aufs Maul bekommen. Ja,
Gotcha.
My apologies. Yeah.
So, Angriff.
Sakura swirl. Whirling snow.
So, der letzte. Ist auch erledigt. So. Bin ich jetzt mal gespannt. Oho. Eigentlich jetzt gerade sind wir jetzt wieder in der Oberwelt, oder?
After all that, we fought, though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here.
Wenn ich raten müsste, wäre der wohl gerade Navias Anschuldigung über sich ergehen lassen.
That's right.
Ah, das stimmt.
Then let's hurry up and find some evidence so we can get back to the Opera House and help Navia.
Okay. Lagerkosten durchsuchen.
What's all this? Ah, some pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box.
Ja. Hier stehen sogar Namen drauf.
Paimon sees it too, but why are all these cute things labeled with different girls' names?
Weil sie wahrscheinlich den Opfern der vermissten Fälle gehören.
You mean the girls from the cereal? And then they opened all the boxes of things. These names.
Gegenstände der Vermissten. Diese Kiste wurden tief im Hauptquartier entdeckt und sind mit dem Namen ihres Besitzers versehen. Die Namen hier stehen eindeutig im Zusammenhang mit den Opfern des massenhaften Verschwinden der Mädchen. Dies könnte ein Beweis dafür sein, dass dieser Ort ihre letzte Station war. Haben wir erkundet? Dann haben wir auch was.
Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Paimon's eyes. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report on him.
Das muss wohl etwas mit seinem Fall von damals zu tun haben.
Yep, it's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and Callus. This should prove the existence of the third person, right?
Sieht ganz danach aus.
We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus the old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides, but he can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
Sie sind ziemlich durchtrieben. Ermittlungsbericht über Callus. Hinweise zu Callus Fall, die im Bücherregal gefunden wurden. Der Ratte glaubte nicht, dass Joker die Tat begeht. Oh, habe ich jetzt aus Versehen gedrückt, sorry.
Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water.
Das wird wohl Wasser des Urmeers.
That means this is where they make all the synth. And that special water, if you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth. But the pure stuff can dissolve it. Paimon will take notes on this incriminating...
Teich das Wasser des Urmeers. Im Hauptquartier gefundenen Teich, der mit dem Wasser des Urmeers gefüllt ist. Der wahre Täter kann damit Zimt herstellen und direkt Menschen auflösen. Haben wir alles. Hier waren wir noch nicht gucken.
Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial sea.
Meine Güte, sind das viele.
Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth?
Sieht so aus, als würden sie hier Synth herstellen.
It's super!
Ein ziemlich weit verbreitet unter den Trägern kurzer Zeit ein sehr angenehmes Erlebnis bietet, aber sehr starke Nebenwirkungen hat. Hersteller nutzt diese Eigentum, um damit enormen Gewinn zu erzielen.
What's this over here? Looks like some kind of experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the primordial sea. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea.
Beruhige dich, Paimon.
Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just... How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact tone? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going.
Das Ziel des Forschers ist, seiner einzigen Geliebten namens Venere zu helfen, die sich aufgelöst hatte.
So that's why he did all of these... Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane!
Hier steht noch ein weiterer Name. Wacker.
Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case.
Er ist der Forscher.
You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments?
Ja, viele der Laborberichte tragen seine Unterschrift. Diese Stimme im Brunnen muss möglich vom Venere gewesen sein.
So that's it! Vache was no victim, but personally took his lover and... No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water?
Da muss noch mehr hinterstecken.
In any case, Paimon will...
Das Laboraufzeichnung.
We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories were spot on. But...
Wer ist Wacker?
Yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals his true identity. No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed everything to do with that name a long time ago. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit.
Unsere Feinde sind wirklich gerissen, aber vielleicht nicht gerissen genug. Sehen wir uns doch mal
Sure
auf.
thing. Paimon won't admit defeat.
Noch Hinweise zu Wacker.
You take that side and Paimon will take this side. Check everything carefully.
Mann. Nach einer Weile.
Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either.
Paimon, ich hab hier etwas.
Whoa, really? Let Paimon see. Vinier. Isn't that Vache's lover's name? Then you found her diary. Let's see. Aww. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. She was so sweet too.
Schau dir mal diese Seite an.
Paimon feels even worse for her now.
Sie hat sich Gedanken um einen Kinderalbum gemacht.
So many! A whole page's worth! But they're all crossed out. Was she... The final name she decided on was... Marcel! Wait, but... Marcel's pretty old! Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Vinier's grown son?
Ich habe die Antwort.
Hey!
Okay. 180% to upward.
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache? Oh, so you do know.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name.
I was waiting for you to say that. As expected of my partner. I just knew you'd return in the...
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence.
Du sagst also, dass du noch nie von Barker gehört hast? Ja, des Blumenmeers. Gegenstand Barkers Laboraufzeichnung. Okay. Das scheint nicht richtig zu sein. Ich denke lieber noch mal danach. Begnüßt Notizbuch stellen. Oh, sorry.
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair. We already know everything. After your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the... You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely end with that. Marcel's moat.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior... Well, Marcel, do you... You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise...
Do you think... Do you really... Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vinier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice. Your Vinier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes. But I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't...
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go! I can't follow! So if I can't go where she is, I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed Callus still... I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot dog.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me. Vinyere. Please, Vinyere. Don't think badly of me.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearances. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vache and worked as an adventurer with his partner, and during an underwater expedition, Vinyere accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vache. Learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel. During the course of his research, Vache discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into contact. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vache decided to assassinate their president, Callus, at a banquet. Although the assassination did not go as Vache expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the scene. And just recently, Vache attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse, guilty.
Guards! Take Vache away.
Good. It's what he does.
With that, the serial disappearances.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be so...
Yippee! We helped Navia bring them back up! He's hurt so many innocent people, and now he's finally getting what he deserves! Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely...
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come.
Yeah. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula.
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big ol' happy ending. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got—
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has any—
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to—
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right?
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that the guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to— We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse, guilty.
What?
Sehr gut.
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed— What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice...
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just...
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
Der Grab wurde von der Oratrice für schuldig befunden. Was hat es damit nur auf sich? Ist mir egal.
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal is, by law, the final verdict of the guards. Please take the suspect.
Komm, akzeptiere dein Schicksal.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Oha.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Wenn es sogar der oberste Richter nicht weiß, haben wir keine andere Wahl, als den Hydro Archon selbst zu fragen.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it! I don't know what happened there either! Hey!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either? But that's impossible. Didn't she?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really...
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blind.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed and of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded. If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because everything he's done. Not to mention all shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my... Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end.
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into...
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any idea.
Du weißt jedenfalls, wie du ihr den Boden unter den Füßen wegziehen kannst.
However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised. If the judgment has been
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, we'll take your word. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. So he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
Verlasse das Opernhaus. Lebe wohl, Tartaglia.
Oh, Monsieur Neuvillette! That power you showed when you took him down.
I'm the Chief Justice of Fontaine, of course. If officers of the law lack the strength and capability to...
Das ist auf jeden Fall sehr heftig. Ja, bis 3. Na gut, Leute. Ich würde sagen, das war's erstmal, Leute. Tschüss, bis dann.